Hi, Kara here, and welcome to my craft room. I am going to do the finished third part of my card, and here is the card that I finished right here. See those subtle clouds in there? I just love using that perfect pearls with the baby wipe to make clouds, because any way you turn your card, it is going to look sweet. And then you can see the snow type. See it in there if I turn the card? And then I placed in the front, I stamped dark black, and then I did first I did a second generation stamp here, and then a dark black stamp here to make it look more 3D. But I'll show you at the end of the video what I'm going to add to that to just bring it up a notch. And I'm going to carry on here. So let's see. I have 140 pound cardstock. Yes, it's a really thick cardstock. And let's see here. So what I'm going to do with this, I decided that I wanted to distress all the edges to make it look more outdoorsy. And I took the Martha Stewart punch that has the twigs on here, which is a really nice set. And I'll show you where I used that. And I took a couple of the leaves, the skeletal leaves that I got from Bonnie and Sherry. Right here, the brown and the orange. And I'm going to incorporate these. And with some vellum and some more goodness. But first of all, let me measure this card for you. It is 11 inches by almost 7 inches, scored in half. Right here. And then I took my sharp pair of scissors, and it's a quick way to get distressed edges if you can't find your distress tools. Just grab your scissors and they'll show up. I don't know how you lose stuff in your craft room. I think it's because I was moving things. And must have decided to move those two. See how quick that was? I did that to all of the papers I'm going to use. I didn't do it to this black one. Look how quick it is. You can get a lot of distress edges with more force that you put on the scissors. But the black one, I want quite a bit of it to show, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And then I took a little piece for the bottom, and I used that twig punch. And I want to have just a little bit of this. I don't want any straight looking edges. And you know that clean and simple is not my forte. It is vintage, roughed out, shabby chic, 100,000 layers. And I work well that way. Something just fell. I don't know what it was. I think it was what I was going to use on my card. Yes, right there. So I have a piece that I'm going to put this way. I want these little twigs to stand out, and then I have this little strip here for the bottom. So let's get putting this together. And what I do is I take my whatever picture I'm working with, background picture, and I take it over to where my cardstock is, and I just pick out what I think will layer well. And I do the same with embossing powders. I'll show you what I want to do with these. I took the Tim Holtz Distress embossing powder because they're a bit more coarse. I like that. This is the Spice Marmalade, the Frayed Burlap, and the closest blue I could get onto this was the Glacier Recollections blue. I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So obviously I need some Versamark, right? And I need some label roll post-it tapes because I'm going to mask. And let's see what we can do with this stamp set. Another thing I did, I like to do a lot, when I do vintage shabby chic cards, I like to cover most of my card stock. So I decided to take some vellum. This is Stampin' Up! 40-pound vellum. And I took that twig punch, because we don't get to use our punches that much. At least I'm starting to use, I want to use mine because they're awesome. And I took a piece of this turquoise Stampin' Up! All my papers are Stampin' Up! Papers. And look at there with the vellum. Isn't that sweet? And then you've got that nature type background, which is really cute. And we'll go with that. And I'm just going to see here. I have my other vellum. I have some vellum that was just leftover vellum, and I want to make sure I keep it in sight because that's what I'm going to use to show you how I do the 3D look on my trees. Okay, so we have our kind of shabby chic card base, and we will turn it over, and I'm going to start to put down my pieces of paper. So what I do is I want the black to be right on the edge here, and I'm using the Stampin' Up! Fuse. I think, let's see if I am. Yes, my window in my craft room is wide open, but the humidity has left the air, and I am able to, at noon, come in and actually craft. That's amazing. I didn't think I would today, so I'm kind of excited about that. Now I'm hoping that you see this. I kind of zoomed my camera in so you would. And then I'll just set it down like this because I want quite a bit of the bottom if I can. And that's the beauty of distressing a card. It is not precise. We're clean and simple, which I am going to do some clean and simple cards for you next. But with shabby chic and vintagey type, you can error. You don't even think of error because there is no error in this. You can just slice it, dice it, whatever you want to do with it to make it look like it was planned. Okay, so sometimes I would take the distress inks and I would stamp them. Edge them with the inks, but I don't think I'm going to today. This doesn't look too edged. There we go. Notice how my scissors match my paper. Sure. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I want a little bit more distressed. And put some tape on here. Boy, when you do that, it's kind of crazy. There we are. So we're getting this down here. And I love this fuse. It is such a nice tape. And all you have to remember is when you lay it down to flick it like a check mark. And like that. It works pretty well. Now let's see if we can get this. And like I said, when you distress the edges like this, you can be off a little bit without having to lose sleep over it. And then I did the orange because I'll give you a hint on when I do this. Whatever color is the least in my card background, whatever I have stamped for the focal image, I pick the first background layer to be the least of the colors that are in my picture. Does that make sense? See how I just have a little bit of that orange in the corners? So I went orange, and that will draw it out to me. It's not factual, but does work. So that's how I do it. And then I go to the next layer. I need to take a little bit off this side here. And I need to grab a little bit of black soot for around the edges here. Look at, I did it right over the top of this, and I'm not going to do a voiceover on this. So let me just grab my black soot and to the edges here, right here. Okay. There we go. I just don't want the white to show on here, so I'll just take this and go like that. There we are. You don't want to have white showing up here. Isn't that nice? That's it. Now we'll start putting this together while that dries a little bit, because it's all on my hands. Where's my cloth? Oh, right here. When I rinse out my chamois, I have this little sandwich boxes I use for the grandkids. I cut their sandwiches in shape of sandwiches, so I bought a bunch of these. And it is really airtight. And I put a little bit of water on the bottom, right? So when it's washed out, they're kind of soaked, so that I can grab one, just go like that, and let the water go into the other one. And then when I want this one, I put this over here and I squeeze it out over here. And it works really well. So Tupperware or anything that is a little airtight works wonders. So I'm just using it to wipe my hands off. There we go. I'll lay it right there. That won't take long to dry in this heat, I tell ya. So we have those two. Now, it doesn't matter which side I use, because there. I wanted to just show you as much of the card process as possible here of putting together a vintage card, which I know we have all done. There we go. And see how it has marks and water, and you're not going to see any of that. So all is good. There we go. Isn't that sweet? Look at it, got black right there. But you know the beauty of that? I cover my I cover all the pages of my card, so I never worry about that either. But I don't like this being, I have to pick this up a little bit. And let's see if I can take off a little bit more so you can see that there. Quite simple to do. Just want to see a bit more of the color underneath there. There we are. That looks good. Okay. Alrighty then. So we have that, and now we're going to go to our focal image and put that down. And I'm going to get black on my hands again. I should really use my powder, and why don't I do that while I have this here. Just grab your embossing, clear embossing powder, like this, and we will set the black ink with embossing powder. Let's move these right there. We'll just take that like that, like that. There we go. Then I don't have to worry about getting this all over myself. And then we'll heat set that, and the black will be engaged right into the cardstock. Isn't that awesome? And it's just a sealant. So every time you touch it, you're not getting that all over you. Look at that. Just making sure it's really set, which I think it is. Out of all my heat tools, I don't have the Milwaukee heat tool because I have 4 heat tools and I don't want to have 5. But this here, one from Michaels, this heat tool here, embossing heat tool from Marvy, it heats the hottest, the quickest than any of my heat tools. I find that amazing. I'll vacuum later. Just throw it on the rug. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. There we go. Nope, I have to add some more. That's not going to be enough. So I think what I will do is add some oh my, what am I going to add here? Maybe I will add this in the middle. Let's see, this will work. Let's cut that off. This foam, you got to use it if you buy it, right? So we'll just use it for the middle. There and there. I'll lift it up a little bit. I don't mind that. There we are. Okay, I'm going to raise it up. I think that will look nice. So let's get some of my Suquang tape. And this, I think, is 2 inches. 2.5 inches. And let's put it on this side. So you have 1, like so. And then 1 like this, and another one. There we go. Here are the birds. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm doing a scenic card and the birds are going in the background. I love it. Okay, have I used up all my time yet? And I'm just on the cover. Alright, so let's put this down. Let's release this. And this is not that much of a lift on the cards, but it will look nice. And I know that that focal point card is going to stay there. Let's see if I can get that off. There we go. Suquang tape is so crazy sticky. It's awesome. And it doesn't fight with you either, which is nice. There we go. And Virginia, thank you for my scissors again. There we go. So let's place this down here, right in the center. That way you don't see the blue as much. There you go. Just some ideas for you when you're doing your cards. And then let's take off the back because I buy the foam at the, I don't know if this Walmart or the dollar store with the back on it. But I wouldn't use this for die cutting because it will jam up your dies. It's just good for things like this. And make sure when you get it down, it's exactly where you want to have it. Let's see. That's good. That looks good. You can hardly tell it's raised up. You can't see anything there, which is nice. See that? It has a nice edge, yet it has that firmness that I really like. Okay, so let's get on to this here. Won't take but a second to put this down. And I'm not going to put black soot on that. I'm just going to follow this through. I have all my cards set aside to my left that I have to get in the mail on the weekend. Because I don't like to make cards and have them sitting around when somebody else can get a blessing from receiving a card. It's Not that my cards are anything special, but receiving them makes them special, right? I have gotten more cards from friends that I can't even count. And that's why I like to give them out. Because it is more blessed to give than to receive, and that is the truth. Okay, so what do I want to do now? I want to stamp this. So let's set my card just right here. And let's take my mat, because I'm going to do some stamping. And I'm going to stamp it up high like this. Determine which side of your card you want up and which is down, and which of the vellum you like. I think I have a little bit of black right there, but I think I'm going to cover that with so it doesn't matter. So let's go like that. And I put out of the My Favorite Things stamp set right here. My Favorite Things. It says, thanks for thinking of me. That's the one I used. I love My Favorite Things. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to use Versamark, and I am going to put the thanks down first. Like so. You can do this two ways. You can either block it with your tape, but I think this will work out better for me. So let's put that on here, and the sponge mat will, I'm going to guesstimate right there. Okay. Lift that up. Oh, that's yumminess. And having the twigs doesn't make it look any crookeder than it is. Is that a word, crookeder? And now we will use some embossing powder. I am going to use the 2 here. Okay, so grab yourself, I got these for $1, about 1,000 of these coffee filters. I don't drink coffee, so they don't get used up for nothing but crafting. So let's set that there, and I am going to put a little bit there. And you're going to have to, because I'm using multiple colors, put it away right away. And then we'll put some of this here. It's cute. Like that. And put it away, because you don't want that mixed up, right? And put it there. Just a few ideas for embossing. Oops, something's in there. A little fuzzy in there. There we go. All right. And then go to the next one. I want the letters to overlap. That's why, I want a bit of the, can you see that? The orange to be inside the frayed burlap. Okay, all right. Stop the music here. I have to grab something to take a bit of that frayed burlap out of my orange. Do you see that? I did that. Oh, okay. Let's just add it in there. Okay. Nobody saw that, right? There we go. And then I spilt some of this. I like saving. I know I seem to buy a lot, but I don't like to waste a lot either. And I don't think I buy any more than any other crafter myself. I'm going to take this here because I got a little bit. And on vellum, you can wipe it away and it dries instantly. There we go. Another tip. So now we are on the spice marmalade mixed with a little bit of frayed burlap. There you have it. I should have used a duster, but I didn't. But on vellum, it really isn't that bad. There we go. Isn't that sweet? Okay. And let's put this back. And if I don't put the lid on it, an accident will happen. Alright, let's heat set that with my Marvy heat set tool. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Can never get over the wonder of embossing. And you don't want to burn it, so that's all I'm going to do. And then I'll show you. Don't want to warp this either. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Okay, now let's do the bottom. I will take this off for now and put the rest of my sentiment on there. And I can't thank everybody enough that watch my videos. I know I say it 1,000 times, but I am really thankful. Let's see. All right, let's try and get this one a little straighter. I might have to stand up just to get it right there. Could have used my MISTI, but I don't have much room on my table here. Just hold it there for a second. Awesomeness. Okay, I can put that aside. And on the bottom, I am just going to use this turquoise color. There we go. Nothing sweeter. And look at that. Isn't that unbelievable? Now this is going to run, I'm not going to do a voiceover. This is going to run into another part, and I apologize, but I want you to see the process of this card because it's a pretty card. Pretty stamps create pretty cards, and Stampscape has the most detailed stamps I know of. Heartfelt Creations has good etched stamps as well. Well, all photopolymer, I love them, but the you can't beat the rubber stamps there for detail. There we go. See how hot that is? That's how quick this Marvy tool at Michael's. You don't have to have all the name brand stuff. If it works, keep it. There we go. Look at that. Amazing. So I'm going to put this on my card, and I'm going to start part 4 for you.